Start. Hello everyone, welcome to Blunt Honesty. It's a show where we're going to talk about controversial and hot issues. Today we're going to be going over polygamy, Kanye running for president, online voting, and freedom of speech and cancel culture. So today I have a panel of guests and we're just going to go right into it. Alright, so guys, first things first. August Alsina recently said something on an interview show about dating Jada Pinkett Smith and how Will Smith trusted him with his heart or something to that nature. So let's talk about it. Do you guys believe in polygamy? Do you believe that it could be a efficient, effective, meaningful relationship?
I think it just depends on the people. You know, like it depends on the relationship you in. As we can see, we're not all the same type of people. So what works for me don't work for two people sitting next to me. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
Well, I'm a judge, and somebody can deal with either multiple women or multiple men or whatever. That's just not my route, but it does work.
Absolutely. Anyone have anything to add to that?
No, I definitely believe the same thing. And I think that there's a lot of people who are talking about, because Will and Jada's relationship has been idolized for
a while. J. Cole.
Yeah, so they've been idolized for a long time. So it's like when people have heard about that, they assume that it was an affair. But we don't know. It could just be, again, polygamy.
No. Everyone. It's been known for a long time that that's what they do. They're polygamists. So
she said something about that.
I think it's tying into people's lives too, bro.
Yeah, not necessarily.
What?
Because they've always denied having extra relationships, but they say they were like partners. You know what I'm saying? So really, I can't speak on them. You know what I mean?
Like maybe they've unlocked a certain point in there. They've a certain understanding of each other that some other people don't have, and they're able to kind of get into that kind of vibe of being able to have multiple partners, maybe. But that's
Some of you might not remember, but a while ago I posted about this subject on my Facebook, and basically I just broke it down like this. I think for a long time in society, we've all had these norms, these forays that we're supposed to do, and taboos and stuff like that. And for the longest time, we've always been one man for one woman. And as society is changing, the standard dynamics have also changed. It's no longer one man, one woman. It could be two women, two men, blah blah blah. Times are really changing. And so what I'm getting at with that is, what you said is the number one thing. It depends on the person. Me personally, couldn't do it. Now I'm really introspective, so I had to think to myself, why can't I do it? What's wrong with it? Is there anything inherently wrong with polygamy? And the only thing I could come up with is, nah. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. The only issue is that of a personal one. Me, I'm telling you right now, could not do it. Why? I'm envious. Yeah, I'm insecure. I couldn't share my girl with someone, because you're gonna get those thoughts does she fuck with him more than me? Do they do stuff without me? Is she gonna go off with him? And then that's not even another thing. I'm selfish too, because if my girl proposed bringing another girl into a relationship, I'd be about that shit. I'd be about that shit. Now she said, "Hey, this is my boy Daryl."
But what if you were bi though, bro? It'd be a whole different.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's the type of. But I'm not.
Yeah, a whole different thing.
Yeah. So who wants to pick that up?
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if you're gonna be doing a polygamous relationship, then you are doing a polygamous relationship. Not you're bringing a girl. Not you're bringing a dude.
They were extensive communication.
It started
with everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you're doing a polygamous relationship. You know what I'm saying? So
everybody would be on the same page.
Exactly.
I think it depends on the type of polygamous relationship too, because you
Yes.
think about the religious ones, with the Mormons and stuff. That's generally just a man with a bunch of wives.
Isn't that polyamory though? Polyamory is when you marry multiple
The
wives.
question I was going to ask is, why do we see polygamy as wrong though? And
I told you already, status quo.
But is it because of that, or is it because we are raised in primarily Christian society?
No, absolutely. This is
down on that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at any other country, they mainly have that happens. Like you look at Muslim countries, they have multiple wives and it's never an
Yeah.
issue. You know what I'm saying? Or
I think it all
There's very old texts that say that it's okay for men to have
Yeah.
multiple wives.
Right,
I don't want to get into
but I'm
that.
saying,
There's very old texts that
are
say
we
that.
against it because of
I think that's just
how
a
we
traditional
came up
norm.
in society, because it's a Christian
Yeah.
society, or are
Well,
we
men
against
say-
it because we really?
I think it's the nation too. We got to think because as a nation we are predominantly a Catholic Christian
That's what I'm saying.
nation. Like you go anywhere, like you go outside of Europe and the United States, you're heading into the Middle East, you're heading into parts of Africa, even parts of Asia. They're heavily, Muslim. They are Buddhist. They're not Christian. They're not Christian nations. They're not Catholic nations where the majority of the population is dominated by this one religion
Right.
that we are accustomed to.
Right.
So outside of our nation, outside of Europe, I'm sure polygamy and that sort of thing is way more common, way more
Accepted.
accepted. Exactly. Here, it's always going to be iffy because for the longest time, it's been the rich white folk running the place.
I mean, you just think about that from the '60s, bro. Like that lifestyle, bro. From now till today,
Yeah.
I feel like it's changed so drastically.
Oh yeah, now is way more acceptable because of how our
Just like
view
that-
on religion, like the grasp that religions had on our nation and everything
Right.
has definitely relaxed
Right.
over, especially the last 40 years. So
It's like war lifestyle too.
Exactly.
You know, their men and their the men and their one wife. You know, what I mean, come
Yeah.
home from war, taking care. You know, it's,
yeah, but you
that's
start to
like
see that kind of change in
Right,
Vietnam.
right.
Ideology, yeah.
I think we definitely saw that start to shift in like Vietnam though, because you'd see a lot of guys who went over there and were marrying, Vietnamese women that were over there,
Absolutely.
even if they had a
Like
relationship.
getting away from that
Yeah,
idea
exactly.
to be.
You start seeing that break from traditional values,
absolutely.
especially with that whole counterculture movement and the punk movement and everything that started coming out.
That's
Of
why
the
I asked
hippies
the
and
question.
everything.
That's why I asked the question, because are we really against it, or is it really just how we were
It's just
brought up?
casual.
It's precedent.
Yeah.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
And like for some reason, like I'm one of those people. I'm Nigerian, right? And I love my culture. I love my culture. But there's a lot of things that like, as a first generation Nigerian child, I got in trouble or yelled at. They're like, in this culture are not an issue or not a problem, but because they want to stay in their like culture, their ways. So like same thing with this country. Everyone wants to stick to tradition, and like the thing we have to realize though is a lot of the traditions and precedents of this country are fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. It's not saying that Christianity is wrong, but to put everybody under that one guise is wrong.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right. Like I'm just saying, like I think we try to pretend when it comes. Sorry, I'll get back to you. I'll try to like people try to pretend when it comes to like other religions, like fuck that. Like this is separation of church and state. But then when you have Christianity and stuff, like they all want you to be Christian. When stuff happens, God wouldn't want this, God wouldn't want that. And another thing that pisses me off is you can look at reading the Bible. I used to like go to church every Sunday with my mom. You look in the Bible, there's so much fucked up shit.
Slavery
And one
is
thing I
legal
noticed,
according to the
yes,
Bible.
exactly. And there's so much fucked up shit. But then, you know what ends up happening? They just move past that part in the Bible. Like they start. Well, it's about how you decipher it. So you can like get away with like just picking and choosing what parts you want to abide by. And so like it's no different than
Why
polyamory.
do you think it was used to not to move the situation so far? I mean, the conversation so far from where it started. But why do you think it was used to control slavery?
Yeah.
Anyway,
'Cause
let's
you
move
can pick-
on.
How about
This
that?
is a whole
How about
other
that?
thing.
We're getting
Now
off
we're on a
the
tangent,
polygamy
but
right now, yeah,
does
but
anyone have
like
anything? I want to move on to the next
Yes.
topic. So does anyone, you want to close out?
Yeah, well, I was just going to
Closing
say,
statements on this.
with polygamy, it's very important, and this goes to anything in relationships, communication. Because a lot of people, your communication and your intent of communication and your intent of your actions. Because if you're polygamous because you want to fuck a lot of people, that's
Yeah.
different than
Yeah.
than you want to
Yeah, that's not polygamy.
express
That's
your love with
Yeah.
this person. You know what I'm saying? That's complete. Those are
Yeah,
completely different
that's
things.
yeah.
So if you're not communicating, if you don't have the right intentions, it's not going to work out. So
also shout out to Lou Williams.
Can I say
He's doing it
this
right.
real quick?
And Brother Polite for that matter.
Brother Polite's doing that too.
He's a polygamist. I think he's a polygamist
Can I
too.
Yo.
can I say this conversation real quick? 'Cause
All right,
it kinda
all right.
relates to Jada and Wilshire. Like, is
Yeah.
it so bad if you're a man in a polygamous relationship? Is it so bad for your woman to have another man? If you doing
The
your
answer,
own thing?
the short answer is no. The long answer is, absolutely not. Because as men, we still to this day have certain stigmas and stereotypes that we have to abide by.
Right. We'll say because
We have to, or we choose
Yeah.
to.
You could
Choose. Well, I mean, isn't that the question?
That.
Isn't that the question though?
There's things that we have to abide by. I mean, like, I think that
Like men, we have to be seen as strong. We have to be seen as like caretakers. We have
It don't mean you're not strong. You can legitimately be like, yo, we're in business. Look, we're in business with these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta keep this shit. It's celebrity. You talking about this Will and Jada? You gotta keep these kids in a good light in the public. You gotta make sure everything's happening right business wise.
They're under a lot of
You know
responsibility.
what I'm saying? There's a 600 responsibility of being Will and Jada in themselves.
Absolutely.
Why is it not saying, yo,
Take a
do what you
vacation
wanna
right
do.
quick.
Yeah,
That's so
yo,
bad, bro.
I got my own
That's so
little
bad.
shorty. You got your dude. Yo, we hold everything down. We making sure we good, and that's really what matters.
That's what matters. But that means you're like secure in your relationship.
I'm about to say,
Everyone
it
is
depends
like
on
that.
the people, bro.
Human, like,
That's it.
everything
That's
in
it,
life,
bro.
when problems come in, is human error. Everything in life,
Yeah.
comes out of human error, and like that's just another thing. It's just flaws with ourselves that don't allow for it. And because we see the flaws in ourselves, we get upset with other people that are like doing things like we kind of wish we could do or we would be more open to, but like we're repressed.
I agree.
All right.
So, is that why you think we're against polygamous relationships in general?
In general, I told you guys my personal reason.
Do you
So,
think as a
it's
whole we are
jealousy
against
and
polygamous
most people are
relationships?
against. I don't think.
I just think it needs to become more popular.
I think as a nation we say we're not, but once we get involved in it, you're not gonna be okay.
All right.
And that's 80. I think that's 80% of.
Well, that's just my-
All right, hammer down, moving on. Hammer down, moving on. Because we can stay on every topic forever. Let's be real.
For sure.
Next topic. Kanye for president. Yeezy. Yandi. What's good?
I actually like this topic a lot, dude.
You want to start it off, Bora?
No, I just feel like we're in such a time right now where like it's almost like Stranger Than Fiction shit, where it's like it's like we've already had Trump. It's like Biden seems like it's so like it seems like that's not where we would be going
Bro,
with that. And
little-
I feel like
Go ahead.
Kanye would just be the not to say the next best thing, but if we've already made it through Trump and to Trump, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if people are ready to just take the leap of faith into something unknown and
Yo,
crazy
I'm so
and
glad
Trump
you
could be,
fucking
bro.
said that because like literally someone on my Facebook status was saying something
Biden
about
to
like
vanilla.
y'all
I
need
should
to,
say,
someone
bro.
was like you need to stop like posting about Kanye like being president, like that shit not gonna happen. And I like responded to them that like the last time I thought a crazy celebrity wasn't gonna be president.
Fucking weird.
So you know what, like I saw Donald Trump do what seemed to be the impossible.
And they said the same shit.
I don't know how a man with that much dirt. That man had dirt and was showing it off. Like he wasn't even hiding it. I think people felt comfortable that at least like we could see his dirt or something.
Well, he
But,
was
like,
dirty to begin with, and then started to roll around in the mud.
But
in
he
front
was
of everybody.
he was bulletproof, yo. He's immortal.
Hillary
Why
Clinton
people
just tried to hide her dirt. That was the difference.
And she
His
was
dirt
so
is
little
different
compared.
than
Yeah.
the establishment and Hillary Clinton. People already really knew what's good with them, and that's the reason why Trump won. Trump would have won if there was somebody that was actually good.
If they
Obama
given
could have run for a
Bernie,
third term, Trump would have not won.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't believe that, but I
Not
get
to
what
mention,
you're saying.
no, Bernie got cut too, didn't he? Because
Well, he got shot.
Anyway,
he got done.
Break. Let's focus on the main topic though. Kanye.
Regardless.
Would you vote for Kanye?
no.
I was gonna say
My
that.
question.
I like how you looking straight at me.
I'm looking
Why you looking
at
straight at
you.
me?
Yeah.
You could ask anybody in this
Are you
room.
voting for Kanye?
No.
I'm not.
I like to see his platform.
But
No,
what I understand, from
First
what
of
I
all,
understand,
I think it's too late at this point.
I like to say he's a Christian now.
Yeah.
By the way, this just seems like some bullshit. First he
That's
started working with Trump to release black people. Seems like, you know, all right, bonus points. Became a Christian, released non-secular music, another bonus point.
Yeah.
Bought lands, like the only as we sorry for
No, you good, man.
microphone in that. Bought land, which as we all know, it's really important for black people to have land. We have, if you look up the percentages, I wish I did this, I'm gonna be more professional in the future. If you look up the percentages, black people don't own shit. We don't own shit in this country. And like when we do acquire shit, we don't acquire like lasting shit. We get like, you know, and that's a fucking problem. And like, so basically what I'm getting at is he's doing a lot of build up things that seem to have like been chess move pieces to get here. If you want to like be like conspiracists like me.
I agree.
And so,
And that's where I'm at.
so
I
here's the
absolutely
thing.
agree.
Here's the thing. Either he's been prepping for this, or he's being crazy Kanye and just fucking violent out. Those are my two things. And I don't believe one over the other. I'm just saying, rationally, that's just how I.
or he tested some shit and he gonna do it really for real for 2024.
That's what I think that
testing the water.
he actually does want to run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
no question.
And I have no doubt that Elon Musk will support him. Elon Musk is as wild as him.
Absolutely.
But I don't think that he's gonna run for 2020, and I also don't think that he's gonna get this kind of support that he would need.
He could if the votes are online. Which brings us to our next topic.
Damn,
Ready.
that shit, I didn't even think about that, bro.
So,
That's some genius shit, bro.
next topic of our discussion, we are going to discuss Corona is going on. We've had all-time record low votes. So now, with everyone being social distance, besides us, obviously, are people going to want to go to the polls? How are the polls going to work? Is everyone have to be 6 foot from each other? Is everyone going to have to adhere to all the rules? Are they going to wipe down the panels all the time? Like, what do the people that work there have to do? Like, they're going to be exposed to, like, thousands of people, just like, grocery store workers. So, like...
Kanye going to treat votes like streams and break.
Hold on. You can say that next. So, basically, what are the pros and cons of online voting? Should we do it? Will it increase voter turnout? Will it increase fraud? And so, like, we're about to get into these issues. Karen, did you want to start? Karen always been starting. I think he started the last one.
I just was on the last one kind of segueing into this shit, and I just had to, but I heard what you saying. I'll let y'all pick it up, but that was my thought on the last one.
Yes.
It's going to increase voter turnout, but I think it's going to increase fraud by a whole lot too.
That's the thing they gotta be careful.
That's
about.
the only thing I'm worried
I
about.
highly doubt it's going to increase fraud.
A lot of people feel that way because what? Isn't there only 31 confirmed cases of fraud in the entire?
There's not that many cases of fraud for us to.
But then again, that's that they discovered. You don't know like the ones they haven't.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Do you know how easy it is to create a new IP address?
Okay, but here's the thing, when you talk about like, it's gonna be all through the government's websites and things like that. So
you trust
again,
like regulating it should be square.
Yeah,
it should be good.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, even though with the stimulus checks, how they rolled those out, people received stimulus checks who were no longer living. Right, so it's like people think, oh, we can't trust the government with certain things, but at the same time, it's like I think that if you're going to move, that's a big move to go completely online with. Well, not complete, but most people do it online. So to go online, that's a really big move. They're gonna put out a really sound system to make sure that works.
Well, you would hope so.
I
was saying because here's the thing though, because all those voting machines were getting hacked, and they were able to prove that there was Russian interference on those voting machines. I don't remember in which states. So they're able to hack into supposedly incredibly secure voting machines. Now, online, yes, it'll definitely boost voter turnout. Look at American Idol. American Idol gets more votes. America's Got Talent, all those get more votes almost than our federal fucking elections.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. If you can cash in on that market,
Kanye, that's what I'm saying. He's a social media goat. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's dangerous. Last time I underestimated a crazy celebrity, I felt dumb.
And while I agree with that, the main issue is how easy, if the Russians or anybody for that matter can hack into secure voting machines that are each individual voting machines separate, they're just hooked up to a Wi-Fi network, that's it. What are they going to be able to do to our government websites that have already had serious issues every time they launch? Look at when Obamacare launched. The website, and I loved Obama. The fucking website was miserable.
Beacon, the current
even that is
launched,
terrible.
Awful. They eventually get around to fixing it.
Those type of things are launched under pressure, though.
Yes.
In my opinion,
so if they prepare, if they're able to pass like a referendum real early and decide real early, this election is when we'll start online voting, and they take all that time and actually put the needed effort into building this infrastructure, this website, this whole construct that they'll need to run this to ensure it is completely bulletproof, then maybe it'll work out. But that means the voting has to happen now and plan for either 2024 or even 2028 to be able to develop the software, because shit's always changing. And especially a lot of people will start working on something and stay with that OS until the time to release it, and by then it could be like 10 years old.
Yeah.
So they have to continuously be updating it. Like, they have to be so on top of things, and that is not an American government thing to do unless it is taking out its own citizens at this rate. And that's just...
Like,
I mean,
I think that
employment website, even with the backup of that, and that was an old website, bro.
Yeah,
I would think,
Yo, they
right?
just made it, didn't they?
Yeah,
Well,
the
you know,
new
I
one-
don't know
They-
about
yeah.
the one in Maryland was relatively new.
Built.
So
Yeah,
it
they built
still
that thing.
struggles like hell.
Well, that was because of the backup, but it's gonna be the same shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be even more people though.
I was
The
gonna say,
whole
trying to
nation
vote.
is trying to vote at once.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
Just forget about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely think. I mean, I think that there would definitely be complications, but again, it's one of those things where you gotta have to plan it out and like.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
think
take a leap of
everything
faith.
is moving towards a digital thing
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be a way to do it. I just think, are we in the right scenario
To
start
be able to
doing
do
it
it.
Now?
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where like, I don't.
Like if it was like 2020 online voting, yeah, we're talking about voter fraud. Yeah.
It's just kind of hinted at without getting too off tangent. Bernie Sanders getting cheated.
Yo,
That-
yo, he got
I'm like,
cheated.
Like, I do not trust them just having some numbers that they.
Yo, they really wanted nothing but like they were willing to do anything to not let Bernie take the nomination
Right, man.
because he had an actual shot, but he wasn't going to do the shit they wanted him to do.
They're scared of progressiveness.
Yo, they were so scared because the moment Bernie became president, he was going to go for
The
them.
crazy thing, the same thing that happened to Hillary from Trump and how she lost is the same thing she did to Bernie. You win the popular, but then you just lose somehow. Like, you know, what? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's like, I don't trust none of the numbers really. Like,
Because they
what is
can
an
be
online?
fake, bro.
What is coming in? At least when you say, at least when you got people coming out to the polls, you can pull up at the polls and be like, yo, it was that many people I feel like came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it's all online, you just going on.
Numbers can be bought or fake, bro. I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at 6ix9ine, bro. Sorry, let me
Oh
not
my
bring him
God.
up.
But no, it's
But like
true.
same way, bro. You can fake numbers, bro, and then you can question Billboard and oof, and that's a whole other thing, bro. That is. What
And then claim fake news
And then
all this
claim-
other shit. That's how they do. It's called gaslighting a situation.
you don't think politicians or people of higher
They
that
fucking
shit?
gaslight
Or
the entire
that shit?
fucking nation all at once. They put us all on blast. They got us all thinking that it's one way when it ain't.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how Trump won the election, basically. He told everybody everything. He promised them all this stuff, and then... it's amazing that if you listen to someone who's telling you what you want to hear, and then you don't get it when you go ahead along with them when they clearly are trying to get into a position of power. But I digress.
Nice. That was dope. All right, cool. Now to move on to our final and most contentious issue: freedom of speech. Freedom of speech and cancel culture. So let me take this one. I want to start off with this one. We are getting to a weird place in society right now where like there are just like so many new things happening all the time. We are having trouble adapting. Things were one way for a certain time, and then, you know, with the development of like technology, like you just sprung into the future. Like like what a time to be alive, for real. I think that is creating this just dysfunction and disorder in the world, where like people that never once had voices or could get their voices like to millions in milliseconds are now having a chance of a voice. So every single person is not having a voice. Also, there's something called mob mentality. And like we always stick to these bubbles and we always fight for what these bubbles like make us fight for. Like for example, I don't support police brutality or like you know, shooting unarmed black men or black men running away. Black men doing anything that isn't threatening to you. But if a black man pulls out a gun, shoots officer, like comes running at him, the officer has the right to, you know, react to that. But my thing is, I'm allowed to say both. I'm allowed to say that cops cannot fucking slaughter people but also there's consequences if you attack, shoot the police. Granted, you're being detained or arrested for a valid reason, because nowadays they're starting to pull you over for wherever they can. It doesn't make sense when your only offense is resisting arrest. Like, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, we live in this world where it's just like, something happens, bow. Something happens, bow. Outrage, reaction. Outrage, reaction. And so, like, we're canceling celebrities for this and that. People are losing their livelihoods. Like, and I'll admit it. I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a huge hypocrite because I feel so good when I find out, like, a racist lost their job. Like, one of those, like, Karens or whatever, like, screaming at people doing stupid stuff, and they get caught, and then they get, I love that shit. But then, like, I feel a certain type of way when, like,
Louis C.K.
Like, Louis C.K. Well, Louis C.K.'s is weird. That's a whole thing. I don't want to say that because I don't.
Well, the season, sorry, that's a good one.
Definitely, that's a way better one.
Yeah.
The Louis C.K. one.
Crystalia
is a line.
You heard? You know,
Yes,
man?
yes.
Come on
But
now, bro. Like,
moving on, like, the moment the word spreads, you're like, fucked, whether it's true or not. Do you guys remember J.K. Rowling and how she defended Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp.
Yeah, after everything broke with
and
her.
yeah, and like everyone wanted her to like fire.
Yo, they wanted her out.
They wanted her to fire Johnny Depp. They wanted to stop her. They said you support woman beater, woman beater, blah blah blah. Then what happened several years later?
Exactly.
It finds out that Amber Heard was the fucking abuser in the relationship. But what happened first? Johnny Depp was drugged through the fucking
literally
mud.
drugged through the mud.
Drugged through the mud. And then like, and now people are finding a new reason to be mad at J.K. Rowling, and that's another thing I want to say for another episode.
Yeah.
But like, so we're just so quick to react, and like, it's making me feel conflicted because like I'm like, yeah, good, like fuck you, you're racist, you should go. But like someone else who like, I'm like, where does it stop? Where's the line where like the map? Like there was a what's called Black Mirror episode where like all society functions off likes, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I just feel like how far does this rabbit hole go? Because right now it's cool. Racists are losing their job. But then what happens when you like find a reason you don't think someone should have a job?
Because you posted a meme 5 years ago that was a little distasteful.
It's like, I think that it's like accusations, like when it comes to Johnny Depp, accusations that are not founded on a fact or a screenshot or whatever like that, doesn't make sense for somebody to quote unquote lose their livelihood.
No, she had pictures though, right? Didn't she have pictures of like being bruised?
She supposedly like did it to herself.
Yeah.
That's what.
But
Yeah.
The fact that now she was able to produce something that at least looked like he.
Yeah.
did.
So they had.
Again, that's not. There's no fact to it. It's just a picture. You have. That's what.
But that's evidence, though.
Investigation has to come into that.
No, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like an
People-
accusation.
But what the media puts out the pictures of.
Yeah.
People
It's
immediately
like-
jump to the conclusion.
Yeah,
rather
that's
than-
what I'm saying. Like,
that's
to
their
me,
job. So yeah, that's what they do.
I'm like, I hear accusations of stuff, right? And my immediate thing is not immediately to quote unquote cancel somebody, is to then go and start looking up what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like there's the thing with Justin Bieber actually just recently, and a girl had said that he sexually assaulted her or something like that.
Damn, I hadn't heard.
Yeah,
about
and he brought out the receipts.
Yeah,
like,
he literally-
he brought
shit.
out like actual receipts, like as in he was in a hotel, stuff like that.
He was able
And
to
so,
prove everything.
Yeah, he was able to prove he had evidence.
That's what's up. Defend yourself, kids.
Exactly. And then of course people are coming to him and saying like, "Oh, you paid people off," and it's like I have the evidence. So it's like people are just they don't want to go and like wait for an investigation or investigate themselves or anything like that. They want to just take what this is and then use it and like start
Absolutely.
thinking and framing whatever kind of mindset.
I think there's just a group of people though that think in absolutes. So it's like if something happens, then it absolutely had to have happened. Like if someone says, "Oh, this happened," then no matter what, it happened just like that. And I think once they're set in their way, it's hard to kind of push them out of it. Even with concrete evidence, sometimes they won't budge from their position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think there's just a group of people that like to think in absolutes, and they go straight to trying to cancel people. They're the ones that immediately are trying to go for the throat with everything with this stuff. They're the ones that got Johnny Depp thrown off that Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yes.
Basically, like he lost money because
Yes, and
that could happen to any,
sponsorships.
Granted, I think it would probably happen less to just your average Joe because there are lots of times where girls do come forward with stuff and They're
Oh,
like, hey,
absolutely.
that guy did it and stuff, but shit never happens because they'll just be like, oh, it's a he said, she said. But
Yeah.
there's no evidence. Especially if they can't go and get that.
As long as it makes
done.
big media attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the second it's someone with a name that can get, it's going to get clicks on the Google page and stuff, and it makes headlines,
Yes.
and it gets
Yes.
people watching, forget about it. That's the stuff that goes wild and it's like a wildfire on
It's
Broadway. It's mob mentality.
I think it's just people projecting themselves online, and like as we go into digital, it's just gonna get more like that.
But are you allowed to like just express your opinion on something, even if society thinks it's wrong? Are you at least allowed to express it and have a dialogue on it? Because 1 second, like you guys know, the whole reason of this show, was that I've just been seeing so much hate. Like I've been trying to say that the Democrats and the Republicans are two sides of the same coin. They're both trash. Everyone wants to go Republicans, yeah, Democrats, yeah, but nah, they both suck. Why do we were brainwashed into thinking there's a two-party system, and I wish people would talk about that. I'm upset because I have a friend. We got into a debate a couple days ago. He sent me a post with Addison Rae or whatever her name is. Black, what blackfishing is? Yeah, with white girls or like what Ariana Grande does, make themselves look like black or ethnic. And so he was like, this is stupid. I was like, yeah, white people doing it again. And he was like, what? I was like, that's some stupid white people shit. And he was like, what's wrong with it? I was like, oh, you're saying it's ridiculous that this is. So yeah, we started talking about it. And I was like, so I was on the stance that this is problematic. And he was like, but people can't tan. And I was like, they can tan, but this isn't you can you can tell when someone's a tan when they're trying to look black. And so we disagreed. And I actually this was around the time I was making a concept of the show. I was like, yo, I would love to have you on the show and talk about this. And he would not fucking have it. Post op. Anyway, he would not fucking have it. And so I lost my train of thought. He wouldn't have it, so I said, yo, come on my show. Oh yeah, I already said the part. Wow. And that distracted the shit out of me. But he wasn't trying to have it. And he was like, he's trying to be he's trying to go into a really professional business later. He doesn't want someone to come dig back and be like, he said this, he said that, and lose his job. And I think that's fucked up. I thought that was really fucked up. Because
about it, why would you be scared if you might lose your job? In my opinion, it's if you stand by something, then stand by it. Stand by it. If you have an opinion that is, because people express opinions. And
what about racists who do that?
Exactly.
Express yourself. Who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Face the consequences. Go for a company that accepts racists.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel that. Be honest.
Yeah, be honest. That's what you want to do to be.
I have an idea,
But what if they're not?
What if you could really say?
We'll weed those fuckers out.
No.
Then it's a witch hunt.
No.
It's a witch hunt.
And then see if you can put them in some type of new program that's new jobs right there where you got to be rehabilitated somehow to change your mind.
Yeah.
But if you send them to the same people that
You know what I'm saying?
them,
you get
to see worse.
financial punishment and this and that. You want to be in this society. If you're not, you can go somewhere else that accepts that. Just like you tell us to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
though.
I mean, look at how the Germans treat Nazis now.
Exactly.
And anybody that tries to speak out. You throw up the salute and you'll get 3 months in prison there. They don't fuck around with that. And it's the same thing here. It's the same. Yes, the South didn't have concentration camps. They had plantations.
Right,
I mean, is it really? Yeah, exactly. It's arguably worse.
It's not whatever. We're not going to.
But exactly. It's comparing apples to oranges somewhat. But at the same time, the fact of the matter remains, it was a group that literally fought. You could tell me it's for states' rights. It's your state's right to have slaves.
Yeah.
Period. Amen. That's what it was about. You don't like that, then you're denying history and what it is. And I'm sorry your textbooks are written and catered to your thing. This is just something I heard. I don't know the literal facts on it. I have heard and I thought I saw a picture of in Texas, they still teach it in their textbooks that slaves were just unpaid workers.
Yeah, I saw something like that, but it was just a meme, so I don't know how much stock to take in it.
But no, I did see an actual screenshot from a textbook at one point.
Oh,
though,
shit.
and I think I did read it. Like,
I've seen a textbook the Native Americans gave them the land.
Exactly, but like they teach history the way they want to teach it, not the way
History is written by the
happened.
victors.
But they're not the victors; they're the losers. They're the ones flying a loser flag, a flag of people that literally lost. And we don't even need to get into the fact that that's not the actual Confederate flag. That was a flag that was flown only by one army regiment, like a handful of times. The real one is more like Mississippi's flag, actually. That's actually being changed. They're completely doing away with it. So you know that, like, you know how bad it actually is, though. And even my cousin, and people who know me, I'm Puerto Rican, and my cousin, that's my mother's side of the family. I have a cousin who's Puerto Rican and Italian, so he's dark. He looks like, when he tans, he looks very dark. He went to school down in South Carolina, coastal Carolina, and he had to get his car repaired once. So he had to leave Myrtle Beach in the nice university area, and he said he was legitimately scared for his life out where he was getting his car fixed. Full well knowing that he doesn't have, like African American heritage or anything like that, but just the fact that he was somewhat darker than pasty white was enough for him to be literally terrified for his life just trying to get his car fixed.
Jeez.
And it's just because you look different. That's the only reason they're pissed.
That cancel culture, like, just kind of bring it back down. Like, it just depends on what you do. Like, if you talking about something with little kids, no matter what it is, beating them or sexually assaulting, like, they're canceled.
There's certain things that should be an automatic
Here's the
cancel.
Oh, by the way, go ahead next, but I just want to say we're going to have an episode about not offending pedophiles. So I'd love you here for that one.
I would love to be here for that.
You'll see.
But so the way I think about it when it comes to like canceling somebody is if your viewpoints and your ideologies are detrimental to somebody's prosperity, the way that they're able to interact, rights, things like that, infringing on the rights or anything, any type of marginalized group or anything like that, cancel, yes. Or anybody who's
like for some time, like, we gotta see what you were saying. Like, if you want some real, like, degrading type shit.
But I'm saying it doesn't have to be super degrading because it's the fact that it's like your mentality. When you speak out these thoughts that you have, it then empowers people who have a worse mentality.
I just know that I've said something wrong before.
Yes,
but here's
yes.
I was going to get to that because I was going to say, and the difference is that people they're getting stuff pulled up from before, and then they're then backpedaling on certain things. But what you should do is say that you acknowledge things that you said before and you're disgusted at that person before somebody calls you out on it.
Yeah.
My thing is like, at what point do you cancel somebody? Because people get allegations all day and then they end up sometimes not getting convicted.
Some people
like Freddie Gibbs. Remember when Freddie Gibbs got fucking convicted of or almost convicted of overseas bullshit, and he fought that shit for months, bro, and he finally came out and it was like all bullshit, bro. And then like it's just crazy. Then you got people like Christy Elliott who's now getting stuff in the past, and people trying to. He hasn't said shit about nothing because he's trying to, come out with a statement.
What about the people that just say stupid ass shit, but like construes with racist?
You mean some like?
Because like something happened with. Do you know the girl from Long Beach that like there was a post about recently? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, she said she basically unintentionally what's it called? Defended the KKK.
Listen, she goes back. That's why people are really.
But she just kind of unfairly got roped into it. Yes, it was stupid, but was it racist?
Defending the KKK?
So okay.
I was about to say.
She didn't really. In response to what something said, she said that the KKK hasn't done anything in forever.
And her.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Like that type of mentality.
So how are you so like tone deaf? How are you so tone deaf?
He's right. If you know that she's just trolling, like she's trolling.
I want to know who you're talking about.
But again, that empowers other people. It empowers people who are white supremacists and things like that.
She's really just saying that to egg people on online and all that.
You think
That's
so?
the kind of person who should be canceled. What the fuck are you doing?
What about Doja Cat getting caught in fucking white supremacist chat rooms? You heard about that shit?
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
You know who Doja Cat is?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then she had a video posting like
That shit
like the
needs to
truth.
be-
Was
that
that
shit
like,
needs to be
was
canceled.
did anyone watch that?
Yeah, but it was like all kinds of phony shit. She's
I was always wondering. It just looked like she was trying to be cute. I think she was just trying to be cute and get like
That
forgiveness.
shit need to be canceled. And it's not to say shut up and dribble, but sometimes it's like,
Shut up and dribble.
yo, when you, especially like if you're under the influence of anything, your management gotta know, like, yo, cut that shit out because there's people that you influence. You know, like we're new to the internet and all that shit, but at this point, 2020, I think we all realize we need to be more cognizant of how we act online, whether it's our family seeing shit, whether it's we don't want people to see certain things, we don't want to get certain solicited messages, even down to the ads. Like, I'm tired of seeing certain ads just talking, and that shit pops up. Like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like we just need to, we gotta move. Like, we gotta evolve. That's what it's forcing us to do, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's having such a problem with it. It's becoming such an issue in our society as a whole. Like, once we get past and really understand how to use the internet, I think we'll be good. And the cancel culture will balance itself out. I think that's what we really talking, having this conversation for. Like, because like you said, how long does it last? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to last long.
Before
once we
everyone's-
figure out how to use the internet, and then once we motherfucking figure out who those people are, you gonna see it's really something wrong with them anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like, why? They're really nothing.
Because I just have this like personal like belief that everything stems from ignorance. I just feel like if you were, you know, born around ignorance, grew up around ignorance, like it just breeds more ignorance. And all you've heard is like, of course you're racist, because all you've heard your whole life is just like people, like your parents talk shit about you. Like my fucking mom talked shit about every single fucking race, even her own, because within Nigerian culture there's like Yoruba, so like my mom is the biggest shit. Like I grew up with the biggest like racial shit talk I've ever. When I showed her a picture of my ex who's half white, half Asian, she said, "Oh, you're gonna be the first one to bring ching chong to a number state." So like, there's just some people that are ignorant.
I think it's with technology. At what point are we going to be canceling each other? Like everyone is canceling everyone. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a.
I worry about people like my mom who are just like not racist, but like stupid.
I don't think that that's possible for everyone to cancel each other, because we want to move towards a state where we're not ignorant towards it, where we're not just putting out information that is, or putting out statements that are. No, I'm talking about putting out like statements that are derogatory towards it. We want to put where everybody is not doing that. So if everybody has to be canceled, then fuck it. Then that has to happen.
Kill the internet.
Like, that's human.
Kill the internet.
A universal shutdown.
Humans are gonna be.
That's radical, bro.
People that are say,
Because here's the
there's
thing,
always shitty
the
people.
more time you cancel these type
But
of
like,
people,
you know,
whatever,
we've all bullied somebody without even trying to bully them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we've all done.
We all
Accidental
sinned. We
bullying.
all
And
sinned.
not saying that someone's gonna say, like, bro, I've said some racist shit before. Everybody's gonna say
Bro,
some racist
some people that canceled people were later canceled for doing the same shit.
Exactly.
shit.
So people just hop on this event, like, you don't even have
I'm
to.
not saying don't cancel them, and that's what I'm saying. We gotta find a balance, because like really, I'm gonna give an example. Recently, there used to be some people that used to, them and their dad used to do some shit to me in the neighborhood, like follow me around in their car and walkie-talkie, and like yell shit. You know what I'm saying? When I be by myself.
That's scary as fuck.
No, look. I could have ran and told and all that shit. I wasn't scared. Like, there's no where I'm from, and it's them. Like, I'm not worried about them. But at the end of the day, like, I wanted to talk to them recently. It was on the Colleen Post, you know what I'm saying? And then I didn't even want to expose them publicly. I just messaged them privately. And they didn't end up responding. I'm like, I don't appreciate that shit you used to do. You feel me? Like, that shit wasn't cool. Like, it was you, your father, and your brother. Like, oh, it's weird, first off.
That was basically what they did to Jogger Homeboy.
You feel me? You feel me? And I'm from Tennessee, bro. The stories that I hear is some real about Arbery shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Like, don't step. I've been called a nigger for stepping on the grass, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, like, to me, that's racist. But I know they got black friends, and I know they're not racist. You know what I'm saying? But
It's
like,
a culture, sort of.
you feel me? It's like, yo, like, what is y'all talking about?
That's
and I
so
don't
many
want you
people.
to. And they work with kids now. And I'm not saying that they're a bad person. So I don't want you to lose your job and nothing like that.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? You was doing it.
Yeah, Yeah.
I ain't do nothing to you. I never spoke to you. And that shit didn't stop until I drop kicked your door. Like, what are you talking about? You know,
I want them to lose their jobs.
And
I love how it is. He said, I don't give a fuck.
Lose your job because that was way back in the past. You could be a good person now. Like, there's people darker than you that they friends with. You know what I'm saying? That vouch for them and say they took me to their home and all.
Y'all heard about the one dude, the black dude that goes around befriending KKK members?
Yeah, he tries to convert them.
What do you think about him? Let's
I
change
think
the
he's
discussion
a
for a
fucking
second.
hero.
Yes.
We need people like him. I
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
expect everybody to be like that. Like,
Because
they
all
shouldn't.
I feel like canceling people does is just create more rage, more justification.
I'm tired of
Well, they end up
being
going
mad.
down like martyrs almost.
Yeah, so then they build their little community of hate
Yeah.
that now has a compounded reason to hate.
Exactly.
They just need to be taught.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm like,
They need to be exactly. They need to be
like I know people are like, fuck that. Why should we have to educate fucking racists? And it's the truth, but like,
I think no, because people know better too. That's why people still know better. And they still do.
they should know better.
That's why
You
I'm
should
saying,
know better
yeah,
by
yeah.
now.
It's not. We can't just chalk it up to people not knowing better because they do know better.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
you
two
talk
sides.
about, like,
though.
or like you know, not even just racist. You're talking about people who are sexist. You're talking about people who are, you know, child molested. You know, what I'm saying all that.
Pedophiles, all
Yeah,
that
whatever
stuff,
it is.
yeah.
It's like you're 30. You know better. We have the internet. We have
Yeah, the
information.
information. There's
That's
no
what we
reason
want
for
right
ignorance
here.
with the internet.
Yeah, all the information we want is right here.
That's true because everything you learn is your environment. So if the people around you are reinforcing your
Yes,
your
that's what I'm
behavior,
talking about.
it don't matter about the internet. You're influenced by the people that are around you.
Well,
If people
yeah.
that are around you always talking that shit, then that's how you go.
Yeah.
And then like a
Here's
black,
the
and
thing,
then a black
but
person does something to you, so now you're like,
But you know it's
That
wrong
one guy-
because you see it online. You know it's wrong. You know, like what we're talking about, like pedophile stuff. You know that it's wrong.
See,
You know,
that's where
what
I
I'm saying?
draw the line. Like,
yeah,
that's where I
Yeah.
draw the
sexist
line.
and stuff like that. You know it's wrong because the information is right here in front of you. Always telling you know the law. You know what I'm saying. So it's like you're choosing to ignore it because what your environment's around you. That's some bullshit. That's an excuse.
I give you that.
I'll agree with that.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
like what that guy is doing, the guy that's going around converting all those KKK members, he is going into these communities that some of these guys may never even seen a black guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never met one. And he comes in and he pokes a hole in their lifelong
Yes.
logic.
I've lived in
Oh,
West, I've
what
lived
they
in West Virginia
think.
and I dated a girl from there, right? And like her family has said some questionable racist shit to me before, but at the end of the day, somebody at a bar was trying to start some shit with me, and I'm by myself. They all doing their own thing. They could have just kept their mouth quiet. As soon as the dude tried to act like he wanted to do something, they all got up and said, "Who said something?" You know what I'm saying? It's like 7 of them. Now you're like, oh, and they know each other, so they like, and they ready to jump on him, and that's their friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk to him like that.
Ride or die.
Yeah, no, I get that. You know, but I'm saying it takes somebody walking into it and breaking that mold to say, yo, I'm not even really mad at y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Not to say the niggas like, I'm not mad at y'all. Like, y'all really don't do nothing to me. We from different places. Maybe we misunderstand each other. But really, are we, like, sometimes I don't even think people be racist because you're not even about that shit. Like, are you really about to block me from anything in my life? No. You know what I'm saying? In regards to the person on Facebook, that's what I'm saying. She just trolling. She don't know. She's just trying to get a reaction out of people and fulfill her life.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
Sure.
so I don't. You need that. Like, the more we, not saying don't block these people off. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to talk at the same time.
But I think it's the thing where it's like we need to talk, yes, but we need to be promoting this conversation into a way where we don't want it to be influencing our systems. Because then you have CEOs, you have these hiring managers, you have HRs who are then putting their ideologies, these racist ideologies, and not giving that Indian person a job, not promoting that person, not paying these people the same wages, or calling the police on people who don't. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, or even just like, or not giving the woman a job. You know what I'm saying? Or making the woman feel bad for doing certain things that she wants with her body, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All these different things. Then it's like these are systems that are in place. So if we don't cancel these people, if we don't put this ideology in the world that all these things are bad, we're gonna come and fucking get you, people are gonna keep doing it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
sort of,
just asking, I think O'Dare asking, is how we treating the situation, reinforcing
Like
the chasm that's caused social.
Without infringing on
Maybe
people's
we
so-called
should- yeah,
freedom.
Maybe we should
You
approach
know,
it
I think
differently.
right away.
I don't know. Is that
Yeah.
what you're asking?
Like, I want to be able to try to rehabilitate someone before I fuck their whole life. Like, I want to give you a chance to, like, not to be fake though. You'd have to go through an intensive program, but like you go to and you have to like pay for this. That's part of your punishment. You have to pay for like these special like therapy counseling meetings where you just like, why do you feel this way about people? What is this? Blah blah blah. Because like I think everyone does like every kind of bad thing. Like well, not every kind of bad thing. I'm being yeah right. I had to pull that back. I was like I have a tendency to be hyperbolic. This is gonna happen many other times. But anyway, like when I be going to Lotte and like one of the drivers always hits me and I'm like, oh, Asian driver. But then I'm like, that's my like lizard brain. That's like my whatever. Then I like 5 seconds later I feel bad. I'm like, oh, that was fucked up.
But it's your acknowledgement and making the effort to not do it again.
Oh, I do it again, but
the difference
I think the main is, like, if both of your windows were down, would you say that?
Oh hell no.
That's what I was
But
saying.
my thing is, what's the difference between, what's it called, like covert racists and like external racists. Like you just don't know about them. So all that's gonna happen is people are gonna stop. They're just gonna be like, all right, let's on the low.
But that's one.
Hide it and get together with people.
Yeah. Like underground racist railroads.
Yes.
Yes. Look, it can be
You think it's funny?
anything.
That's terrible, dude.
It can be underground anything, not just racist.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
that's how we gotta look at the conversation because like.
That's why I'm getting an HQL for real.
If it was a pedophile, are we even having this conversation if it's questionable? We're gonna say cancel.
Yeah.
If it's sexual assault.
If they
Question. I wanna dabble in this real quick because we're doing a special on this. Ryan, what's your opinion on non-offending pedophiles?
What is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is that?
It
one that
means-
hasn't actually committed the act of
You
pedophilia.
got
They just
anything child porn shit?
No. They don't have.
no,
any.
they have they're attracted to children without actually,
And they know it's wrong.
but they don't follow through. They don't actually engage in sexual
Are they getting
intercourse.
therapy?
They're not going.
Some of them, yeah.
How do
But
they
a lot
get
of them,
caught? How do they
a
get
lot of
caught?
them can't though because question for everyone.
They have to offend.
Hold on, real quick. We'll get back to it. But question: what is the first thing you think when you see, hear pedophile?
Priest.
Like you.
Either kill or castrate them, right?
Look, no. You think like
A lot of people always say,
comes to mind
if someone was a pedophile, I kill him. If someone blah, 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 I kill him. So these people who are pedophiles but haven't done anything, how are they supposed to get help? But anyway, huh?
How are they pedophiles? They haven't done anything.
That's a pedophile is someone that likes kids.
Yeah, but like something like in terms of the legal sense, because
They had to get
That's why
way
the
for us to know.
term non-offending pedophile
Exactly.
is
There's no way
coined.
for us to know.
No, but they know, and they feel bad. You get
do
through
something.
something.
They
They
do
know.
something about it. That's the whole point I'm saying. Like,
No, they are. Some of them are.
Usually they're getting therapy in some degree.
so then
But
that's
then some people are afraid to reach out to them because who do you go to say,
exactly.
see? Did you feel it just then?
If they're getting help, then it shouldn't be like that big of a. I don't know.
It's a very select thing
No,
too.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Like,
to
they're
up
trying
the
to-
other person, they should be able to help them if they're like being honest and like.
Yeah.
But you can't be honest about being a pedophile. That's my whole point.
But then you also have.
you're not.
No,
You do that in therapy. You can't say that in therapy.
That's what
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
you
it
can't-
might, but like you still don't know if that therapist will like, because some people have.
This
Well,
law-
well,
by
well,
law,
they can't say no.
Therapists are still mandated reporters, so
Yeah.
if like
If
this
they're worried that a child is harmed,
abuse or
yeah, if they-
suicide or anything like that,
Yeah,
they have
they
to
have-
report it.
But I'm saying, like, if you're saying that you have these thoughts or whatever, and you're trying to get help or whatever, and from this therapist, you're not saying that you're looking to harm a child or you're looking to do something to a child. You're saying that you're having these thoughts and resisting it, and you want somebody to help you.
And I'll leave it there. That's a little sneak peek.
Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about?
I have a good one for this going because I talked about this with myself from friends of mine because I was exactly you and Callo right now. When they were talking, I was like fucking her, but the more they talk to me about it, and the more they show me, there's a difference.
Is it?
Huh?
That's what I'm just
It's
asking.
just people that know they like kids, don't like, know
They
that
haven't
it's
followed
wrong,
through.
that know.
So
That,
you were eventually gonna follow through with something?
no, that's the point. They're trying not to.
Yes,
That's
no,
the
no,
point.
they're trying not to, but you don't know.
you've been like, yo,
No, that's it.
it's about 5 days, like, and I'm about to.
It's about 5 days.
Too long.
No, the point is they never act on it.
But he's plotting.
But how many people do?
Move on.
But how many
Because
people
That's the whole next
No, I got you. I want to have my friends that I had the original discussion on with us, but like that's just a little sneak peek. We'll get back to it. I want to see you guys back. But yo, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. Trust me. I was like, back to the freedom of speech, cancel culture, and all that.
Closing statements.
Closing statements.
I have a closing statement that to reiterate what I was saying is that we should want a society that is accepting of other people and does not want to infringe on people's rights, does not want to put in policies that are going to be detrimental to somebody's safety, to their preservation, to their prosperity, things like that. We should want that society. So if that means putting people out of their jobs where they can infringe on people's rights, putting people out of their jobs where they can discriminate, then that's what it has to come to. Because I don't want Cam to go into a situation where he's discriminated against or where he's targeted or something like that. I don't want Phil, right? I don't want Phil to do. I don't want I don't want that to happen for anybody.
For sure.
And so because of that, I will be willing to cancel anybody. Because I don't want you to then go to be like, okay, I'm just gonna be quiet with my thought process, and then now you're a CEO and you're against all these people, and now you're still that same mentality.
It's controlling all these people, but
just
you're
because
in
you
a
didn't
position
say
of power.
no, fuck
Absolutely.
get the fuck out of here.
So
That's
what
a good argument.
So what
I
you're
agree.
saying
Good
is
argument.
we need a blacklist of basically all the people that that are just dredges to society and are constantly trying to bring down the progression and say, y'all fucking can't have a happy life, basically. Like, because you decided to deny these people life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the government as a whole has decided you aren't allowed to have it for this amount of time.
People wouldn't stand for that though.
No, of course not.
That's what my question is, like, where does that end? Like,
Where's it start?
Yeah, there's gotta be a line.
One more
Exactly.
People end up on
so
the list
when
thinking
you
like,
involved in the list, like, I'm
it's
saying
not-
like pedophiles and racists and all these, you know what I'm saying? But like, is it worth it to cancel someone that sold drugs, or is it worth it to cancel somebody that beat somebody up?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Detrimental to a group of people or something like that. You're talking about
Beat one person
Yeah,
up.
beat one person up. Oh, okay, whatever. But you're talking about like
Serial
I beat up white men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you target groups of
girls.
people,
No,
No.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
No.
I agree.
So is everyone familiar with the paradox of tolerance?
No.
All right, so I have it here. The paradox of tolerance states that if a society is tolerant without limit, its ability to be tolerant is eventually seized or destroyed by the intolerant. So, like, I have feelings, and then I have like logical thoughts. My feelings are everyone should get like a second chance, deserves like not to have their entire life completely, absolutely ruined with no chance of like retribution before like they're given a shot to fix like their mistakes. But the logical brain of mine believes in the paradox of tolerance, and that like you have to be like if you're tolerant, you have to be intolerant of intolerance, like harder, because like who you gonna listen to? The little kid that says if you don't do this, I'm gonna hit you, or the dude with a gun said you have to be the dude with the you have to be the more assertive person, because ain't no one gonna listen to someone weaker and do what like they tell them to do. That's why like the whole peaceful protest thing kind of annoys me, because like I'm not about destroying communities and stuff, but like you only want it peaceful because you just don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at nobody that don't do that shit. That's just how I feel about it. I ain't mad at y'all. I'm not saying do that shit when it's right.
That's how I feel. That's literally how I feel. Paradox of tolerance.
you gotta be firm.
That's I understand the anger, basically.
Yeah.
And so at one point, I just go, fuck, what do you expect?
Like, and at this point, you need to be strapped and just defend your house. So if you feel somebody.
Like some of the protesters might have charges now.
Yeah, which is obviously
Like if you peaceful, you
That's
shouldn't
fucked.
have
Because now those charges are gonna well, only if you're like convicted, but like you're gonna have to start marking them on your background check.
Yeah, but there's a lot of legal entities that have been set up to.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that, by the way. I've been seeing so much of that. I love it.
We're investing in ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I agree.
Alright, cool. Anyway, I think that's that. First episode of Blunt Honesty. I think that went super well. What do you guys think? Yeah, that was dope. Alright, y'all. So tune in next time. I'm planning on doing this show every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe with different, like I said, social, political, pop culture topics and just current events going on. So thank you for tuning in. Let us know if you liked it. Please comment your own arguments or refutals to anything we said. And have a great day.